You know, one of the things I'm gonna use the word hate to see are women in relationships with men who clearly don't respect them, who clearly don't love them. And these women are accepting treatment that is much less than they deserve. Okay. And I think that sometimes when I make these videos, you'll have people comment and be like, oh, that's common sense. Or, oh, like, you don't need to tell a woman that she already knows. It's like, okay, maybe you do. And bravo if you do. But unfortunately, a lot of women get caught up in unfortunate, unhealthy, toxic situations. And the goal isn't to make someone feel bad, beat themselves up, shame anyone, judge anyone. It's to help women navigate themselves out of it. It's to empower, it's to enlighten, it's to encourage, right? Because I know how damaging those types of relationships can be and how much those situations can impact a woman's ability to live a higher quality of life, as well as to be ready to receive the man who is for her. Okay. So when I make a video like this, breaking down signs that the man doesn't respect you, I want you to understand it's not about bashing men in general, because listen, there are bad men out there. There are great men out there. There are some men who are horrible in one relationship, evolve, and become better in the future, but they still may not be for you, right? And I just want you to be aware, because for some of you, you may need a wake up call right now, right? You may need that nudge to help you. For others, you may not be dealing with this, but God forbid you may find yourself dealing with this. Because again, no matter how much we say, I would never be in a situation like that. Listen, it happens to the best of us. It happens to the best of us. But that's what I'm here for, to help minimize the chances of that. And if you're already there, to help you get through that and past that and onto a better place. So I want to lay down for you, or lay out for you, signs that the man you're dealing with does not respect you. And the first one I'm going to have to get to, and I was hesitant to put this on the list because I talk about this a lot, but we got to talk about it again. One of the first signs is if he asks you for large sums of money. So here's the reason why I felt compelled to start off with this. I recently came across a situation. I'm not going to give the story details, because if I do, they're way too specific and it involves some deep stuff. So let's just say I came across some situation recently where this type of situation happened. And the reality is that though I came across it again recently, I've come across this many times in my years of doing coaching and speaking on relationships. And I've been in this business for over 15 years. And I've seen women get attached, put themselves in very unfortunate situations by giving money to a man who really was just trying to use them. Now, I want to be clear. I am not saying that the minute a man asks a woman for some money, it's automatic he don't respect you or he's using you. That's why I tried to qualify this by saying large sums. Now, in fairness, large sums can be different to different people, right? In my head, we're just gonna go with anything over $100. Now, to some people, $100 ain't nothing. But let me explain. First, let me say, it's one thing if we're talking about a man that you are married to. That's a completely different story. That does not count. If we're talking about a man that you've been in a long-term relationship with, that does not count. If we're talking about a man who has consistently provided for you financially, we're not going to count that today, all right? Though there may be some exceptions to that rule, we're just going to leave that off. We're talking about situations where the man has not done for a woman financially, okay? We're talking about situations where the man's not even committed to the woman. They're not even in an official relationship, right? In the early stages of dating, things of that nature, okay? And the reason why asking for large sums of money is in many cases, a sign of lack of respect is because, one, you have to understand and consider the fact that when a man is really into a woman and he's intentionally dating her, right? He sees her as potential future. He is going to be very mindful of how he presents himself, and he does not want to make her feel like he is weak in certain areas. All right. And let's face it, one of the areas that men do not want to show weakness into a woman that they're really into is financially. All right. Sometimes it gets to an unhealthy place. Sometimes you have men who genuinely could have asked their partner for help and she would have helped them and he had genuine intent to pay her back, right? But the fact is, the mindset of most men who are serious about a woman is, I'm not gonna, I don't want to bring that burden to her, and I'm not gonna ask her for money. Okay. Now I just have to throw this in. You have some men who, okay, his willingness to go to his woman and ask her for money is because he can't go to anyone else. But if this man has friends, family, whoever, and he can't ask anyone else, my first thought is, how many times have you already asked them in the past and you didn't own up to what you asked for? Because the idea that you wouldn't go to a friend or family before going to your woman, right? A lot of times that means he ain't good for it. And he's already exhausted his other options. All right. So now he has to go to the woman that he's with. But again, going back to the whole, a man doesn't want to come across looking weak in this area. He's more trying to impress and show that I got it, I can handle it. His willingness to ask, and to ask again, no commitment, early stages of dating, doesn't pour back into you, is usually because he sees you as someone he can use in that way. All right. And there are unfortunately men that exist who target women, who target specific types of women because they view them as an easier target to use for resources. Whether that be a place to stay, whether that be money, whether that be driving your car. I know that hurts some of y'all because some of y'all are going through it. And again, I'm not trying to judge and I don't want you to beat yourself up and feel bad. But we got to be real about this, okay? And again, it stems from like, there tends to be a lack of respect because what you'll typically find, and this is very important, for those of you who may have already or are already in that situation, one of the key ways you're going to know if it's really about lack of respect, or maybe this is just an outlier and he fell on hard times and he needed some help and it's not, it's not going to be a problem, is how does he treat you otherwise? Because if we're talking about a man who, even if he's not pouring into you financially because he just don't got it like that, but he treats you well, he shows you love, he shows you respect, he's there for you in other ways, then I can at least give him the benefit of the doubt that, okay, maybe this is a genuine guy who's just struggling right now, and you really are the only person he can count on to go to for this, right? I get it. But what I see a lot in these situations is a man who's not treating the woman right, who's not pouring into her in other ways, who's neglecting her in many ways, yet he got his hand out asking for money. It's a problem. It's a problem. And I think it's important that as a woman, you understand, even if you view yourself as this loving, generous woman, which is beautiful, I never want you to stop being loving and generous. I just want you to start recognizing who to give that to and who you should not be entertaining in that way, okay? However, if you feel so compelled to still give a man a large sum of money or to make a large financial investment of any kind, co-signing something, helping him get an apartment, putting your name on the lease, whatever, right? Don't do what you cannot walk away from if this man turns the tables on you, all right? You got to be prepared to only give up what you can. If it turns out he's the user, manipulator, doesn't respect you, you got to be able to say, let's just say you gave him $500 and you can deal with not having that $500 back, then that's your limit. But you don't give, let's just say, $2,000 knowing you need that money or knowing that you cannot walk away in peace without that money. And now you find yourself stuck or feeling stuck because you're not truly stuck. You can still make a choice to walk away, but you feel stuck because you've made this too large of an investment in this man. All right. So be very honest with yourself. Don't put yourself in compromising situations, okay? And if you're already there, because again, we're going to keep it real. There's some women who are dealing with this right now. I want you to start planning how you can remove yourself from this situation. I want you to sit down and not, because what happens is sometimes in hoping that he will justify you making that investment, you giving him that money, whatever the case may be, you end up holding on longer, just believing, okay, he's going to do it. He's not going to do me like this. He's not going to do me like this. And then lo and behold, he ultimately does you like that, right? So you've got to be able to set a deadline, right? And you've got to be able to plan an exit, have an exit strategy of how I can mitigate this loss, how I can handle this, how I can detach rather than just holding on to hope. And if we are going to give time, we need to have a structure of agreement. This is how it needs to be paid back. It has to be, because that way, because here's a big thing. If you can at least eat, and we're going to move on to the next point. I don't want to dwell on this too much, but there's so much I can say about this. But let's use the example, you gave this man $2,000, right? You're waiting for him to pay you back. He says, but I ain't got no money right now. All right, cool. Let's come up with a payment plan. Even if that payment plan, this is going to sound ridiculous, but I don't literally mean this. This is just an example. Even if that payment plan is $10 a week. I just feel like some of y'all laughed at me just now. Even if it's $10 a week, I'd rather something that you can concretely hold him to, that he can show you he's paying into to show that you guys will get to that point of it being paid back, than to just sit there with just give me 4 months. Because then you wait 4 months, and now 4 months come, and I need 3 more months. And 3 more months come, I need 5 more months. And it's this never-ending excuse and ongoing cycle. But ultimately, to wrap this point up, I'm just going to say, again, don't give more than you can handle losing. And make sure before you give to a man in that way, if you are prepared to take that step, ask yourself, does he show up the way that I need him to otherwise? Is he pouring into me, or am I just doing for him? Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. So, I always say a lack of boundaries invites a lack of respect. So it's important that in relationships, in dating, in life in general, we set boundaries, all right? And specifically, we're going